So I recently sat down and read the Big Book of Submission, Volume 2, and one of the themes within the book is that there are so many different ways to submit. So of course that got me thinking about all the different ways that one can be dominant or submissive or a switch. And so then of course I thought of all of the different archetypes available within BDSM. So today that's what we're going to talk about. Hi guys, it's Morgan with BDSM Relationships and Education. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You just have to click the button below, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell, and that way you'll know every time I post a video. I'm doing one video per week, but I'm also trying to sneak in a few little bonus videos. So if you want to be able to catch those, make sure that you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on. So like I said, I was reading this book and it really inspired this, thinking about archetypes. Now, archetypes are something that I teach when I teach a class called Discovering Dominance. And so I wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys. Now, obviously, in a classroom situation, I have a lot more time and I can go into a lot more detail, but this is just to kind of get you thinking. So I will throw it out there that if you do want to check out any of my workshops, you can check out my website to see what my schedule is. And if you want to read either any of my books or the Big Book of Submission, then you can check out on my website. I have a little section, books I love or books I recommend, so you can check those out and you'll find both my books and some of my favorite books by different BDSM authors there. So I want to talk about archetypes, but first we have to decide what is an archetype. Now, there's a couple of different definitions for the word, and it really depends on the context in which it's used. The context that I'm using it is that it is an ideal, a cultural ideal that can be used within literature or art or even relationships. And it is one of those things that is so imbued with various qualities that it becomes a symbol of those qualities. So an example of this is one of my personal favorite relationship styles, which would be the queen or a lady, a lord, and their knight. So I like this particular relationship style because I like to obviously be in control in my own relationships. I am sort of the leader. I prefer that role. It is more comfortable for me. So within my relationship, I lead, but I don't want somebody that is just going to blindly follow me and be useless otherwise. I want somebody who is, powerful in their own right. I get a lot of joy out of knowing that I have power over somebody who is so powerful themselves. You will notice this for those of you who actually know me, and they probably would have noticed that I tend to date a lot of people that are physically quite powerful. I am partial to, people that, are into weightlifting and powerlifting and all that kind of stuff. I'm also partial to people who play full contact sports like rugby or MMA. All kinds of stuff like that. So I do like the physically powerful and often quite large folks for when I decide to date somebody. I also try to make sure that my partners all have skills and knowledge that I don't have, because I want to be able to get their input, I want to be able to get their feedback on things, and then I can make a decision. So I don't want someone, again, who's just going to blindly follow, and I know that there are dominants out there who do want someone who will simply be obedient, and that's that. And that's totally fine. You just have a different style of relationship. You subscribe to a different archetype. Within BDSM, we can use these archetypes to express the type of relationship we're looking for. I think that they can also help people who are struggling within their own roles and who have a very sort of stereotypical view of what BDSM is. So I've seen this so many times with both guys and women who think that submissive men all fit a certain mold, where they are the sort of worthless worm type. So they need to enjoy humiliation, they need to be less than, they need to view women as superior, or whatever it is, they need to, be, I guess, short and slight and have small penises. And there's this whole list of things that a man has to be in order to be submissive. Now, I'm sure there's people out there who like all of those things, but that's not what I'm into. As you have seen when I've shot videos with my boy, he's way bigger than me. Like, seriously, he's a foot taller and quite a bit heavier than I am. And, he's quite powerful. He works out at the gym all the time. It's what I prefer. But he certainly does not fit into that sort of worthless worm stereotype of male submission. So by talking about these different archetypes, we can help people see that there are different ways that you can engage in a DS relationship, and I like that. So another very, very popular archetype within BDSM is the daddy and baby girl archetype. Now this is a completely different one than the queen and her knight. Basically, it is a more sort of nurturing relationship where we look at, okay, well, what is a daddy? A daddy is nurturing and loving, and he guides his submissive. There's all kinds of different qualities of a daddy that we all sort of have in our minds. And so when I say daddy baby girl, you guys will get an idea of a relationship style without me even having to explain it. So that's an archetype, and that's why they are useful to us. The other great thing is that we can use these archetypes if we don't always have the words to explain exactly what we want. So I struggle sometimes explaining what I'm looking for in a partner, but if I simply say I'm looking for a knight because that's who I want. I prefer to be the lady or the queen who's in charge, and I need a knight by my side. So that gets a message across. If I preferred a more nurturing relationship, I might express that the dog is coming to join us. Hey. So the dog has come to join me. I don't know if you can actually see him in the bottom of the frame. He's pretty tall, and I'm not sure if it's getting caught within this frame. Anyways, if I was looking for a more nurturing style of relationship, then I could say I prefer to be a caregiver or a mommy, and I'm looking for somebody that fits that role that complements mine. So I'm going to list off a couple of the different archetypes within BDSM relationships, and I'm curious to know which one is your favorite and what style of relationship do you prefer. So I've already mentioned the lady or the queen and her knight, and of course that can work as a lord and his knight as well. The daddy and baby girl, and of course we can swap the genders there and simply have like a parental figure and a baby figure or a young figure. You can also have the lady or the lord and the servant or butler, the handmaiden, because that is a different style from the lady and knight archetype, but it's somewhat similar in that both of the dominant roles are similar, but the submissive roles are different. There's of course the captain and first mate, the teacher and the student, a jailer and their prisoner, a disciplinarian and the miscreant, the priest and the priestess and the penitent, the god or the goddess and their worshipper. So of course you don't have to pick just one, you can pick multiple if there's different styles that sort of combine, or you can create your own. Like I said, these are just a few of the common ones that I've found. So what are your preferred archetypes for relationships? Please leave me answers in the comments if you'd like to join in on the conversation. Oh, I also wanted to throw in, for those of you who are big philosophy geeks like me, another way of looking at these archetypes is by thinking of Plato's allegory, not the allegory of the cave, but the idea of the forms. And I mean, those two things are linked, but think about the theory of the forms. And that is the idea that we have these pure forms. If I say table, we all have something in our mind that says table, that is the form of a table. It is the purest version of a table, and it's something that exists in our minds and not in the real world. And so we are kind of going with the same type of thing with these archetypes. It is that ideal of a relationship that is universal, that we all understand. They're also quite popular with certain branches of psychology. Jung really liked the idea of personality archetypes, so that's another thing that you can take a look at if it's something that interests you. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I just kind of wanted to get you thinking a little bit about the styles of relationships that you are interested in. Anyways, thank you so much for checking out this video. I'm gonna try not to trip over the dog getting back to the camera, and have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.